Hello, this is Simple Life Philosophy, and I'm your host, Ed Raby. This is the channel that basically I am taking a journey trying to find a simple philosophy of life that is both easy to understand and easy to execute. And I haven't really talked about minimalism much on this channel, kind of in passing, as connected to my Stoicism and other things that I work on. But minimalism, for me as a philosophy, began a long time ago when I was in Bible college and I read a guy by the name of Richard Foster, and I read through his book called Celebration of Discipline. And it's heavy Christian discipline, meditation, prayer, that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed the book. I particularly enjoyed the chapters on solitude and simplicity. And because I gravitated to solitude anyway, because now I think I kind of know the reasons for that. I have a little bit more definitive understanding of that. But the simplicity chapter led me to buy his other book, which was called Freedom of Simplicity. And he talks about having only what you need. He talks about, wearing clothes until they actually wear out instead of just throwing them away because latest fashion. Basically, as I'm reading that book and I look back at it now, it's like it was a minimalist handbook, preached from a Christian pulpit, basically. So that was my introduction to minimalism. That was, holy cow, I graduated in 1993 from Bible college, so yeah, it's been 30 years-ish. And I read that book, so it's probably been about 32 years that I have followed minimalism, in whether it had that name or not. And I think that's the problem because much to my surprise, I was perusing my own YouTube channel, my own personal one where I just watch YouTube videos and research things and things like that. I think I only have one video on there, but it's like I'm perusing along, and because I research minimalism from time to time, there's a couple of videos, don't remember which ones, that just is Minimalism Dead, and I'm listening to a couple of these guys, and their basic problem with minimalism is like they were moving on. They'd been minimalists for all this time, and now they had become successful at being minimalists, and so they had money in the bank. Their YouTube channel had grown, so they were making money off that, and their minimalist lifestyle kind of kept their expenses down. So all of a sudden their bank account grows and balloons, and all of a sudden minimalism is dead. I don't think so. I think the real problem with minimalism sometimes is it gets confused with the decor style. Okay, the people that design your house, kind of thing, and we're going to design it in a minimalist philosophy. And so those two ideas of having a minimalist decor and having a minimalist philosophy about life kind of got blended a little bit. And I just don't think it's necessary to have the decor style, because I think, you see people, they do white and they do black, and it's like depressing as hell. And I don't think being a minimalist means you don't have to use black and white. I think you can use colors. I think you can have things that are enjoyable. I have, as you can tell, stuff on the back wall, but all of those things either remind me of stuff, or I get a chuckle out of them, or I think they're great, or they give me joy, okay, a lot of it, or they give me guidance. I don't necessarily need all that stuff. I mean, you could take all those photos behind me off all the pictures and off the wall and get rid of a lot of this stuff, and I would be happy. But I wouldn't call this a minimalist decor style, would you? Unless you understand that minimalism is more about the philosophy than the decor style. Now, the minimalism to me has always been about me constantly asking two questions. Do I need it? Does it give me joy? Okay, if either one of those or both of them are answered yes, I keep it. If they're both answered no, I dump it. Okay? And it's kept my stuff down. Now, for me, this has been very helpful. It's been a good coping mechanism for me, because when I have less stuff and I have less things around me, I worry less. I think that was part of my large problem in Texas, is I began to accumulate all these posters on the wall. I had stuff, And the more I look back at it, I'm like, man, I'm stressing about this stuff. I don't want to lose this stuff. And, when I decided to come back here, I was like, what am I going to do with this stuff? And to kind of teach myself a lesson, I sold some of it to a friend. They needed some of the things that I had, so I gave it away. But the rest of it I took down to Goodwill and I just gave it away. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a lesson, because all the money I spent on all this, I probably could have paid off my car, or at least put a pretty good dent in it. And I would be in a better position financially if I hadn't spent all this money on stuff just to keep my mind busy. Minimalism, the benefit of it, to me, has always been, well, I don't have to be worried about all this stuff. I can focus on things and I don't need all the extra crap. Now, this is kind of leading to more of a modern question. I didn't really put this in the title, but lately I've been looking at the whole idea of self-sufficiency. Now, I'm going to tell you something right off the bat. I think we're a social species, and I don't think true individual self-sufficiency is truly possible in some respects. I think if you were forced in a situation like you dropped on a desert island, you could be like, Robinson Crusoe, but Robinson Crusoe still had Friday. And, other situations like Castaway, when you see the movie Castaway, and Tom Hanks finds himself on this, he still has to figure out, he has his volleyball being his companion, because the social aspect of us still craves other people. And that's not self-sufficient, okay? If you still need somebody else for something, or you need to make it up, that's a lack of self-sufficiency. I was watching one, she's talking about, how we're going to be self-sufficient in our food. And then she gets the livestock. She says, and you need to maintain some friendships with your local farmers in case you need to buy breeding stock so you didn't inbred. And I'm like, you're not self-sufficient at that point. You're others dependent. And I don't think it's wrong to be others dependent, is what I'm saying. I think the real issue is, for me in self-sufficiency, is I want to do things because I want to do them. And that's where the minimalism comes in. Because I'm like, how much self-sufficiency do I want? What's the minimal level of self-sufficiency that I want? And it's the cabin in the woods, maybe the greenhouse where I grow some food for myself. I still want to go to a butcher to get the meat, I don't want to do that myself. There's certain things I just don't want to do, and I'd rather, just let somebody else do them. And I kind of look at my minimalism and say, it's kind of the way of sorting it. Do I add something else? But I don't think minimalism is dead. And the reason I want to talk just a little bit of history, if I've had minimalism as an idea, whether it's been called that or not, the fact of the matter is it's been around for 32 years, and it's only been popular and in vogue, recently for a couple years. And before that, it was popular probably for a few years. I don't know, probably, I can't remember, late 90s, early new millennium. It seems like it comes around every 15 years. I don't think you can say it's dead, because I think human beings have been active, advocating for a minimalist lifestyle, except as soon as we became a modern culture. Okay, as soon as industrialization, things, let's go back to simplicity. Let's get back away from all this crap. Has been a rallying cry for probably 200, 300 years. So I don't think it's dead, and I think it's a little premature and a little bit arrogant and a little clickbaity to kind of make that statement. And there I am, is minimalism dead? But I'm just reacting to what somebody said, and I'm like, I don't think so. As a philosophical concept, it really helps you sort out, like if we go back to Stoicism, what is in my control? My stuff. Okay, how is it easier to maintain control of my stuff? Have less of it. Okay, have it truly be what you need and truly what gives you joy, and it's something that will help you. Minimalism will help you maintain the control you have over your things. Whereas, if you just let it get out of control, there's just a lot of, and you have tons and tons of stuff, there's no way you can control all that. and there's no way you can protect it all. And it just gets ridiculous how often I watch people, they have all these things and they don't enjoy any of it. Don't get me wrong. If you enjoy, building a life and you go forward and you're good at it, go ahead, great, awesome. But if the last time you played with something or did something or enjoyed something was 2 years ago, maybe you just don't enjoy that anymore, and maybe it's not that important anymore. So it's just something to think about. I don't think minimalism is dead, but I do think that it waxes and wanes, and I think it's had its few years in the sun here, and now it's going to diminish a little bit. But there's going to be plenty of people that still practice it. And maybe 10, 15 years, someone say, we need to be minimalists again. We need to get back to a minimalist lifestyle. And we'll see it prop up again. So it's just one of those things. But I want people to understand this is still a part of my life. And I'm now looking at minimalism's connection to self-sufficiency and how much self-sufficiency do I want in my life. And I'm not sure I want to go the food route. I think I would rather go getting on my own property, being electricity energy self-sufficient. I think I would rather that be my first starting point, because if you have power, you can do a lot of other things a lot quicker, and I need that at my age. I don't need, hard work can be very hard on your body, and what I really need is to work smarter. And I think the smart move in a self-sufficient thing for me is more of, let's find a way to be self-sufficient in electricity and resources such as water, and then move from there. Okay, because if you have the power and you have the irrigation system, you got heat from the power, you've got, you have a lot of options that you can do with that electrical power. And so that's kind of where I'm going with it. And so trying to find that first step of how to do that has become a real challenge for me, because I don't have a lot of resources anymore. I keep looking for a better job so I have those resources, but so far no dice. Still working at the world's largest brick and mortar, and doing what I can to survive. So that's where I am. That's my thoughts on minimalism, and I'm glad you all stopped by to kind of listen to that. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe the video. Make sure you get your notification bells on. Comment below if you really have some thoughts on minimalism and its future in society, because I think it's still going to be around. It's just not popular. Every once in a while it gets popular. So it's more of I don't think it's dead. I just think it's not popular as it was before. So that's my thoughts today. This has been Simple Life Philosophy. I've been your host, Ed Raby. I thank you once again for stopping by, and I trust that you all have a great day.